Oh, this is what happens, man. They're trying to get me. But they don't know I'm protected by the true and living real God. You know?
Ogun. Shagun.
Yeah. Shagun. You combine two names. The fire's got me, man. Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, the 23rd of May. Welcome to TDA.
You should be able to hear yourself, and you have the whole headphones on. You don't even know that you can't even hear yourself.
What's going on, bro? The devil's deviling. You know what I'm saying?
You believe in the devil?
Me? Yeah, of course. I see the devil all the time. I've been trying to tell you, look. You don't believe the devil is mystical. We already know who the devil is. But you lot are not ready for them real conversations, God damn it. Anyway, are we live, Brent?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, the 23rd of May. Welcome to TDA, the day after your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by you, beautiful people. And of course, like we are every blessed day, we are hosted by the very best. Good morning, Brent. How you doing, man?
Blessed and highly favored.
We thank God.
Good morning, everybody in the chat. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to the weekend and all that lovely stuff. I hope that the weekend has so much beautiful sunlight and joy in store for you. Good morning, Energy. Good morning, TT. Good morning, Divina. Mr. Ashlows, Bex, Christy, Miss Snow Globe, DCF Mooks, Mother Boof, Johannes Williams, Chijoke, Easy Bambino, and the rest of you beautiful people. Math 4K. All right.
We got a lot to get through today.
So let's jump into the headlines.
No. Let's jump into the intro, Brett. Well, we're in the intro, to be fair. We've got some videos that I want to be played, if you don't mind. First video is about Piers Morgan. As I'm talking, just load it up. As soon as it's ready, just play it. He had a back and forth or a discussion with Mehdi, who is a frequent participator on the Piers Morgan show.
I think I like him.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's been an avid and strong supporter of the Palestinian plight. And he's always been trying to, bring people to account, innit? And basically it seemed as though that point occurred.
Yeah, he comes across as a real honest and sincere individual. An advocate for humanity.
Yeah.
Oh, you've heard otherwise?
No. I just, I just don't know. But based on everything I've seen of him, I like it. I like what he does, man.
Okay.
He's been doing it for years as well. So anyway, Piers Morgan has something to say to him when they first opened up the discussion. So Brent, when you're ready.
Mehdi, welcome back to Uncensored. Listen, you and I have talked about this war in Gaza for ever since it started, this phase of the 75-year conflict. And I have resisted going as far as you have done in your criticism of the Israeli government. I resist no more. I think we've reached common ground about what we view is happening and has been happening through this period of this blockade, which frankly is just starvation of the people there, including so many innocent young women and children. And I think that the incessant bombing and killing, and we don't know how many civilians have been killed, but it is on a daily basis. It looks like hundreds of people every day, with no apparent attempt, it seems to me, to have any real plan for how this ends or what happens when it ends, other than if you look at what Smodrich has been saying, probably the most right-wing member of a very right-wing government, he is talking in a genocidal language about kicking all the Palestinians out. So I think you and I have reached a place in the last few weeks where we are in agreement. But my question for you, Mehdi, is how does this end?
I don't know the answer to that question, Piers, and I'm glad we're in agreement. I wish we weren't. Actually, I wish I had been wrong and you were right. I wish that a year ago when I said on your show, you said, well, if it's not about the hostages, what's it about? And I said, it's about depopulating Gaza. It's about
What happened?
Can you still hear it?
Yeah.
conquering Gaza. I wish I'd been wrong. But as you said, Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister in the Israeli government, said this week, we are there to conquer, cleanse, and remain. Those are his words. We are disassembling Gaza, he said. We are leaving it as piles of rubble. He says we're doing something that no one's done in the world before. He bragged out loud, and he said, yes, the Gazans will have to leave. So all of those things are stuff some of us were saying last year. I wish we hadn't been vindicated in this horrific way. The killing is ongoing. The starvation is ongoing. And look, I do hope that a dam is bursting. You mentioned the genocide word. Shmuel Lederman, who is an Israeli researcher of genocide, spent much of 2024 saying it's not a genocide, it's not a genocide. He was interviewed by a Dutch newspaper last week. He said, I've changed my position. It is a genocide. He said, in my field, there's a consensus among genocide scholars that it's a genocide. In fact, that Dutch newspaper interviewed 7 leading scholars of genocide. Every single one said, we think what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. In fact, this week, Piers, you have an Israeli former general, Yair Golan, saying a sane country does not attack civilians, does not kill babies as a hobby, and does not expel civilian populations. That is Yair Golan, the former deputy chief of the Israeli military, prominent Israeli politician. He was a hero on October the 7th, fought Hamas himself on October the 7th. This is what he said this week.
So yeah, I just wanted to play that, man, just to see that it seems that everybody's changing their tune now. And obviously, like Mehdi said, it's a shame that obviously everyone who said what they said about Israel and the IDF and what their overall agenda is correct, innit? But the fact that we're seeing Piers Morgan, who we know was defending or at least trying to not make it, at least not trying to draw a line in the sand, innit? Basically say, I don't even know what else to say now. It's clear. These people have an agenda, and this is what it seems they will stop at nothing, man, to achieve. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. And obviously, we've seen this with the UK government. We spoke about this earlier this week, but obviously with the killing in Washington, that may cause a bit of a setback in terms of stopping the nonsense that's going on over there. These people are just killing people. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that to the people. Now let's get on to the second clip, Brent. Now, just to load up just to give some context for the second clip, this is somewhat in response to yesterday's topic of the day where we were talking about Donald Trump and Cyril Ramaphosa and the lie of white genocide. And I noticed in our comment section, we had some comments. I believe some of them are from our South African brothers and sisters. So I'm going to read out some. In fact, somebody just put a comment there right now, 1 minute ago. So I'll read that in a minute as well. But TT says, this played in our favor. If you looked at the entire interview, you will realize how dumb he, being Trump, ended up looking when his fellow whites from South Africa denied the genocide. He's coming to South Africa in November for the G20 for the first time and will leave with his tail between his legs. Somebody called Donovan Strachan, he responded to her, to TT, saying they did not deny the genocide. Come to South Africa, come see for yourself. I'm assuming he thinks TT is not South African. I'm not too sure. TT, if you're not South African, sorry, but it sounded like her perspective was from somebody in South Africa. But Donovan goes on to have his own comment, and he says, our president is keeping quiet of the wrong. It means he's approving what's happening. Minority groups are being targeted in South Africa. Your information about South Africa is incorrect. 2 wrongs don't make a right. The ANC is ruling South Africa, but now they have reversed apartheid against minority groups. Hear the nonsense, right? They have reversed apartheid in South Africa. Is that fair? They should have done better. You have been oppressed, and now you have become the oppressor. This is something that you would say to Israel. They have become the oppressor. But in South Africa, that's definitely not the case. I don't see how they're the oppressor when the 80% of the population, black indigenous people in South Africa, only have access to 4% of agricultural land. Absolutely diabolical comment to say. Anyway, the first link, the link that I want you to play, Brent, is somewhat in response to that. It's a white person talking to Trump in that same Oval Office. You can put it on like 1.5 or something.
If you had to wind all of those planks properly, you will see I'm the biggest target of that rebel rouser. Number one for over 10 years, Mr. Malema. In fact, the first time I met him, he was in the youth league with that gentleman. And look how he's changed.
Right.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers. It's across the board. And we need technological help. We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, the US basics, they're ridiculous. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York would be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. Then he's right now building a house in George. I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm outside Grafrenet. I often go to bed without locking the door. And we have a serious problem with illegal aliens who stream across the border. And if you really look at our statistics, a lot of these murders, firstly it's unemployment and illegal aliens. And then I met Vice President Barnes many years ago, the Charlie Rose show. My wife loved the book. But she reminded me this morning that you emphasized the devastation that occurs when big companies leave towns and cities, and there's a culture of dependency that develops. And I remember you discussing it. Now that's our problem. If we don't get our economy to grow, the culture of dependency and the lawlessness will increase. I've been against apartheid all my life, and I'm their #1 target. Please just Google my name and Malema. You'll see it, sir. He marched on the farm.
The crime is bad.
The crime is terrible, sir, but Mr. Steenhuisen won't admit to it, but he runs the Western Cape, where I live. And the biggest murder rate is in the Cape Flats. Gangs. We've got gang warfare. Like your M33, what are these guys? We've got equivalents there, but we need your help, sir. And we need a lot of technology.
All right. So yeah, all that was that gentleman trying to add a bit more, lack of a better word, color to the situation. Because obviously we saw yesterday Trump was trying to push this whole white genocide agenda, and he was basically saying, and this I'm not necessarily agreeing with all of his points, but he was trying to make it clear that this is not a white genocide situation. This is an issue of crime and unemployment. You know what I'm saying? And just being a farmer who has access to wealth, real wealth in South Africa, you're going to be threatened. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's a very rich person. He has access to certain things. So that was his view. So that was somebody who's not even necessarily pushing the agenda of Ramaphosa or Malema, but just trying to be truthful about the perspective that Donald Trump was trying to push. Like I said, one of our good brothers who listened to the show, Kotso Modise, I believe he might have called in before, but he's definitely commented on some of our videos before. He said, Eman's view on this is correct. The South African government is also in a very difficult position. The private sector is almost all white, and black economic employment is needed and overdue. And black economic empowerment will naturally look like white oppression. And white people are fighting back against the tide, and I can't blame them for it. He puts in brackets. A threat to white wealth is definitely there, but it's a fair and justified threat. He also says, note, farmers are the wealthiest people in South Africa. And if you think you can own a farm, whether you're white or black, and not be prone to attacks is irrational to me. Our cattle is constantly under attack for theft, and naturally those criminals will be armed and willing to kill. From the Free State, I can tell you that 95% of farms attacked are attempted robberies gone wrong. This is not genocide. So that's, again, one of our brothers from South Africa, I believe, talking directly to the situation. I do want you to play clip number 3, though, Brent. And in this clip, this is Cyril Ramaphosa speaking to a crowd. And somebody I saw on X basically said, look, this is what they should have showed to Trump in it to kind of boost Trump's point. But again, you know, these people have their agenda, and they like to put things in and out of context when it suits them.
Land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation. And it must happen now. The question of land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation. And it must happen now.
And I 100% agree with you. But they've tried to obviously push this video as if it's some underhanded thing, it's a secret, or they're trying to do X, Y, Z. This was something that they're saying likely dates back to 2018, yeah? But in 2024, what actually matters is he actually signed the Expropriation Act of 2024, right? Yeah, but he signed it into effect at the beginning of this year. I think we even mentioned it on the show. And basically, this legislation allows for land expropriation without compensation under specific circumstances, aiming to redress, historical injustices and promote equitable land distribution. So this is not some agenda that Trump or some of these white Afrikaners or anyone who's a sympathizer of their wealth over there being threatened can point to. And also, for those who don't know as well, Brent, if you don't mind playing the next two clips, yeah. One of the biggest or the most known voices in South Africa, somebody I spoke about yesterday, Julius Malema of the EFF party. He, for those who don't know anyway, I want you guys to see what he's about, what he's on, right? And he addresses some of the things that the other side, I should say, puts out there to kind of skew the thinking of the public as it pertains to what white people in South Africa go through. And also speaks about the justification of this Expropriation Act of 2024. You can just play them like straight after each other.
49 Afrikaners who left South Africa. You all know that. It's a fiction, it's drama. You know, America with drama is number one. That thing is Movango. I don't know what is Movango in Africa. It's just a drama. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them.
Immediately.
But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There is no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa anywhere else. No Afrikaner will leave South Africa for America. It's not true. We are demanding our land. We are saying let's share this land. Let's all work the land. Because we can't, when we are asking for food, and say no, you are committing crime by asking. We are having a robust debate on land in South Africa. And that must never be used to silence us by America.
I can play the last clip as well. The last clip that Brent's going to play is was a speech by Julius Malema in March, I believe, of this year, speaking about the Expropriation Act that was signed in by the president.
Appropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refuge in America. Deputy Speaker, Trump and the USA are not demonstrating strength. The USA is merely displaying an advanced stage of capitalism, which is imperialism. Trump engages in transactional and manipulative relationships with the world like it is his backyard. The hostility towards South Africa does not come from fraudulent boers spreading disinformation, but from America's imperialist agenda. The USA, home of the world's most sophisticated intelligence agencies that fabricate evidence to justify the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, and orchestrated the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi, Patrice Lumumba, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X, cannot now claim to be victims of disinformation from a minor racist group based in Orania. The USA has openly embraced the golden age of imperialism, extending its power through threats and the prevention and termination of foreign aid. In response, our government foolishly seeks to explain our policies to a maniacal president as if the USA were a victim of misinformation. The USA knows exactly what it's doing and why it is doing it. At a Golden Sachs event of the 27th of February 2025, South Africa President Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa stated, I quote, Trump got the wrong end of the stick of the country's land policies. I completely reject this notion. The USA, home of Elon Musk's platform, X platform, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Tesla, Starlink, and Silicon Valley, the global hub of data collection, cannot claim to be misinformed. They are the greatest perpetrators of disinformation. The USA is the greatest perpetrator of disinformation. It is now using its own falsehood as justification to attack South Africa.
All right.
We will expropriate land without compensation, whether the
All right, people. Well, I just wanted to give some information on the whole situation and introduce some of you who are not necessarily aware of Julius Malema and the fight, I guess, and his approach to the whole situation in South Africa. So you can do your Googles and become more familiar with some of the Pan-African freedom fighters back home. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the intro. Brent, we can go into our headlines. All right, people. So our first headline, Keir Starmer has signed a deal to hand over the sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius and lease back a military base at the cost of £101 million per year following a last-minute legal challenge. Remember yesterday we reported about how basically the courts had basically put a temporary stop to the deal. Now, evidently, it's gone through. The Prime Minister said that the UK's military base on Diego Garcia, which is the largest of the Chagos Islands, is one of the most significant contributions that we make to our security relationship with the United States. Speaking from the UK's military headquarters, the Prime Minister said that as part of the deal, the base will be leased back for 99 years. He added that £101 million per year is the average cost. The net overall cost is therefore £3.4 billion overall. That's over the 99 years. When challenged by the journalist that the annual cost he cited would add up to nearer £10 billion over the course of the agreement, the Prime Minister said it was the net cost accounting for inflation over time. He said that the base on Diego Garcia is essential for a range of UK defence matters, including anti-terror operations, telecommunications, and its deep water port. Next headline, and Israel's leader has accused Sir Keir Starmer and other world leaders of being on the wrong side of justice, humanity and history after 2 Israeli embassy staff members were shot dead in Washington, D.C. The UK Prime Minister, French President Emmanuel Macron and Canadian PM Mark Carney were emboldening Hamas to continue fighting forever. This is what Benjamin Netanyahu claimed by giving them hope to establish a second Palestinian state from which Hamas will again seek to destroy the Jewish state. For those who don't know, a gunman shot a young diplomat couple, Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Milgram, from close range after they left an event at the Capital Jewish Museum. The suspect then walked into the building chanting Free Palestine before he was stopped by security staff and then arrested. On Monday, the UK, French and Canadian government said in a joint statement they were committed to recognising a Palestinian state as a contribution to achieving a 2-state solution to the war. This was the Monday. We reported on this. I think the next day or 2 days later, the killing happened. I don't know if it's connected. Mr. Netanyahu said that Hamas had thanked Sir Keir Starmer, Mr. Macron and Mr. Carney for demanding that Israel end its war in Gaza immediately, claiming that the three had shown they effectively wanted Hamas to remain in power. And our last headline is pretty much related to the clips that we saw, and this is about South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who said his visit to the White House Wednesday was a great success, even though a confrontation during the meeting with President Donald Trump over allegations of genocide garnered the most attention. We've been able to achieve what we set out to achieve re-engagement with the US, to put the issues of investment and trade on the table, and to ensure that we continue engaging through the various other formations. This is what Ramaphosa told reporters following his White House visit. Trump used the White House meeting to confront Ramaphosa with baseless claims of the systematic killing of white farmers in that country. Trump said during the meeting that people are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. At one point, Trump dimmed the lights in the Oval Office to play a video of a far-left politician playing an anti-apartheid song that included lyrics about killing farmers. Ramaphosa pushed back against Trump's accusations and downplayed his criticism, adding that he believes there's doubt and disbelief in Trump's head about his genocide charge. Following the contentious exchange in front of the cameras, Trump hosted Ramaphosa for lunch and further talks. Ramaphosa said that the discussions over lunch revolved around trade, investment, and golf. And that's it for the headlines, people. Let's get into our topic of the day. All right, people. So our topic of the day. You know what? Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. I want people to call up for this. Or just make your comments known, I guess, in the chat, like you guys always do. And I'm going to read a part of the article and just get you guys' thoughts on it. Just in case you're not aware, sometimes on the show I do play the advocate of the evil one, and I might be doing that today. In fact, I will be doing that today, depending on what you people's opinion is, just so that we can actually get into the crux of the situation and further the conversation. But this trigger warning again, trigger warning, trigger warning, right? This is about sex offenders and how they may face mandatory chemical castration, right? And could be sectioned if they refuse under the biggest shakeup of sentencing laws for 30 years. So Shabana Mahmood, who's the Justice Secretary, announced that 20 prisons will trial voluntary chemical castration by way of drugs which suppress sexual urges and lower testosterone levels before the treatment is rolled out nationally, right, for rapists, pedophiles, and other sex offenders. So 20 prisons trial voluntary chemical castration, but if all goes well, they will then roll this out nationally for all the rapists, the pedos, and the sex offenders. Hey, Brent, can I say pedos? Or just, I have to say the proper word, innit?
As in pedophile?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, are you conscious that you might insult pedophiles by saying pedos?
No, just trying to sound professional now, innit? Because you know certain words you can say, you say the full version, but if you shorten it, you might be done out here.
Like
Don't ask me which ones.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's certain words you can't shorten.
They say new gens, bro.
Eh?
They say new gens, bro.
No, not them. I stand with the new gents. Nah,
Then what are you talking about?
mute it.
I did. Oh, sorry.
Can you?
All right. Fair.
Exactly, right? So Shabana Mahmood, she signaled that this was the first step toward potentially changing the law to force offenders to take the medication, right? Telling MPs, I'm exploring, these are her words, I'm exploring whether mandating the approach is possible. Alex Davis-Jones, who's Justice Minister, suggested that prisoners could be forced to do so, as happens when patients are sectioned under the Mental Health Act to enable doctors to administer the drugs, right? We're exploring every avenue possible, she said. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts. Brent, what's your thought on this first? And then you guys can make it known.
Run it by me again. I was typing an email.
Okay, so Shabana Mahmood, she's the Justice Secretary, yeah?
Yep.
So she's announced that sex offenders may face mandatory chemical castration.
Okay.
Right? And could be sectioned if they refuse under this is likely to be the biggest shake-up in terms of sentencing laws for 30 years. Essentially, what's happening right now is 20 prisons will trial a voluntary chemical castration, right?
20 prisoners?
No, prisons, right?
20 prisoners with trial?
A voluntary chemical castration.
So those who are pedophiles can volunteer to be castrated?
There you go, yeah.
Okay. When you say castrated?
Chemically castrated.
And what does that mean?
So they're going to suppress your sexual urges and lower testosterone and all that sort of stuff.
How do you do that?
They inject you with stuff, man. I don't know. But probably, yeah, they probably inject you with stuff.
Okay.
And lower your testosterone levels.
Yep.
And hopefully suppress your sexual urges.
Okay, and it works?
Yeah, 100%.
How?
I don't know how yet. I don't know how. I don't think there's much details on the how just yet. But yeah, this is what they're trying to do.
Okay.
But essentially, that's what, we can get to that after. But that's what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
And if everything's cool, they're going to roll this out nationally for the rapists, the pedos, and the other sex offenders.
Okay.
Cool.
So, are we to assume that the actions that they carry out, these pedophiles,
Yes.
it's just based on a physiological reaction that happens in their bodies that they now want to turn off chemically? It's not their mind.
I think it's both. But if we can shut one of them down,
Then their mind wouldn't want to do such and
As
such.
much, yeah.
I don't think that works.
why?
I think
Yeah, go on.
because my physical body
Mm-hmm.
can react to a beautiful woman,
Yeah, because
right?
it's meant to.
And I can choose not to go through with that particular desire.
Because your balances are all correct. You know what I'm saying? You're a normal guy, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? But for those people who may be, let's just say you're a normal guy, but you heighten testosterone to craziest levels ever in history, that person might be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be going mad. And any slight interaction with a woman that maybe shows some interest might push him to be, you know what I mean?
So the reason why
Aggressive.
I am pushing back on this
Yeah.
is because, one, when it offer this voluntary stuff,
Mm-hmm.
these pedophiles might say, all right, cool, I'm good now. Let me out.
I mean, you still have to do the time, innit? You're still going to do your time and everything. But if they were going to let them out anyway, you remember, after they do the time, they'll just be on sex offenders and stuff. Sex offenders register. But instead of being on a register and being a threat to society, you'll be on a register and maybe just be a bit more calm and stay at home and not necessarily have those urges as much.
You don't think people will start arguing that, well, if the affliction that is no longer blighting me isn't present, why are you still maligning me or having me on record as somebody who's done a thing that I didn't mean to do or didn't want to do? It was my body that just took over me.
No, I don't
It's the
think so.
implication of this particular chemical castration that is baffling me.
Yeah,
And I
hear
don't
you.
think this is a thing. I don't think that it can suppress your demonic spirit. Found my way there. I think the nature of man, when he carries out this particular thing, when I say man, I'm just talking about mankind, because I mean man and woman, right? A boy or girl, they or them, these he or I, you get me? New gens and that. I think it can't just be switched off with a chemical.
Okay, well, I'm going to read something to you.
You got to stay ahead of the chemicals.
Right, so listen, there was a report, right? And this report was done by, I want to get the person's name for you people. David Gork, I believe. He's a chair of this particular review. There were 48 recommendations that were put forward by this particular guy. So he's looking into this whole situation, if I'm not mistaken, right? And one of his suggestions that the most dangerous offenders should be allowed to apply, and I think this comes to your the implication of what you're talking about, right? That the most dangerous offenders should be allowed to apply for parole earlier
You see the gates, the gates, man.
if they earn in quotations credits, right? But this has been dismissed by sources close to the Justice Secretary. So this is the report guy saying my recommendations, my suggestions. Shabana Mahmood, she's saying basically, again, according to sources close to her, saying, my friend, don't even bring that nonsense to me, right? The report has urged ministers to build a comprehensive evidence base around the use of chemical suppression for sex offenders and examine the findings of similar programs in Germany, Denmark, and Poland, right? The report also notes that problematic sexual arousal and preoccupation can be reduced via chemical suppressants and other medications, which can be prescribed for individuals who have committed a sexual offense under certain circumstances. There you go. Listen to this, Brent. It points out that in 2022, a pilot program took place, right, at prisons in southwest England, right, which uses libido suppressant drugs. And that particular program is due to end next year and recommends continued funding of services in that area. So they're doing this as we speak in terms of certain chemicals anyway, you know what I'm saying, to show that it works, right? And yeah, man, that's what this was looking like. Can you listen to this though? Sexual offenses accounted for 21% of adults serving immediate custodial sentences at the end of March this year. 21, a fifth.
Sorry, these are all men, right?
It just says adults. We can't put that one on the member.
No?
No, not today anyway.
No. You're not going to bite with this agenda of mine, this narrative of mine.
Nah. But
right.
yeah, but this is what the situation is, man. Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think it's dangerous because I think sending someone to prison, you have to have the rehabilitation part of it. You have to believe people can change, innit? So that's the part I kind of struggle with. Penalizing them, the penal element of prisons, 100%. You've done the crime, this is the time.
You're shortening everything, innit?
Huh?
You're shortening everything.
What do you mean?
Penalizing them, the penal element. All right, go on.
Yeah, that's the proper word, isn't it?
Penal.
Penal.
Oh.
NAL. Yeah.
Okay.
So that part of it is there, innit?
Penal.
Yeah.
Say
The
it again?
crime. Huh?
Say it again?
Penal.
Interesting.
You know, I can't roll the.
No, that's all right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I'm glad we're mature now.
I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? But yes. That part is there, innit? Done the crime, time for this particular crime is X. But the rehabilitation part has to be there, innit?
Yep.
Unless we're saying human beings, if we don't like this particular crime at this particular time in our human history, then people are worthy of death. You know what I'm saying? Or people are worthy of this, or people are worthy of that. Because we're literally changing the biology of people. Well,
So
the
you're
chemistry of
saying
people anyway.
it's a death of some sort.
No, I'm saying, where does it stop? This country has chosen not to give people death penalty for a reason, innit? Because you feel as though it shouldn't be in the hands of human beings. So why are we then going to say changing the chemical balances of another human being should be in the hand of somebody else? Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, that's why you have an issue with it. It's the
Yeah. Where do we draw the line? Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you don't want them to chemically castrate these pedophiles?
I think you should keep them in prison. Yeah. And if you've done the crime, then...
Sorry, did you say you think you should keep them in prison?
Yeah. No. What I mean by that, let me elaborate. If obviously you've done the crime, you stay in prison. But when they come out, I think they should only be allowed out if the rehabilitation part of it is sorted too. Do you get what I'm saying? If not, then you're a threat to society.
I'm confused. What is this rehabilitation
I think
mean for you?
Making sure that you reduce the chances of them going into society and doing the same crime again.
Using chemicals.
Not chemicals though.
All right, tell me what you're talking about.
You know, therapy, mental health experts. The stuff they do now. Stuff they do now.
Talking to them.
Yeah.
Sweetly.
Not sweetly, but sometimes people are abuse victims, isn't it? And maybe if you can connect certain things,
You're
they can
now
stop.
Dr. Mani, can you hear him now advocating for the the outcomes of therapy? Can you hear him? Wow.
Hey, what happened to cut off?
Oh, you cut off?
Yeah, man.
Oh, God damn it. Hold up.
1 second, people. 1 second,
Hold
people.
up. Right. All
We
right.
back. Dr. Mani said, I'm listening. Big up, Dr. Mani. What am I wrong? Am I?
Look, I'm glad.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you're here. I
know,
can see how you pick and choose.
I'm a stranger to therapy and I don't know nothing about it.
But yeah, here you go.
It's back, man.
But is it gone again?
It's gone again, man.
Gone again. This is crazy. I need to
Pedos are
change this
working.
bloody unit, man. I think what I might do in the future is to have a can actually show what I am doing on this end. So even if something goes down and we say 1 second, they would know what it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
So they can still be like,
Still be entertained
and
to some degree.
and throw grace at us. Anyway, sorry. Would you the benefits of therapy? You're fully on board with it now. Did I misspeak?
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. I didn't mean to go that far.
Therapy's trash, man.
Keep it for the pedophile.
No, I'm joking. What I'm trying to say is I don't know what therapy can and can't do in it.
Yeah.
Because obviously a lot of the time we make it seem as though, go to therapy. As if therapy can cure everything.
Yeah, go to therapy.
No, because that's what people say, you know what I'm saying? But I know therapy has its place and it's very helpful, you know what I'm saying?
It definitely
But I don't know what it can and can't do.
Yes.
So I'm assuming right now, a lot of these people in their rehabilitation process, they go through therapy, they do these things. And I think some people come out and never offend again.
Yes.
So why would we then give them the chemical castration?
Okay.
If potentially, I don't know, remember I'm just talking now, right? Potentially some of these people can change and go on to be upright citizens. You know
I think I understand, you want less destructive methods to be used with these pedophiles.
Exactly. Okay. I don't know of any, except for the ones I mentioned.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, where do we draw the line? Because sometimes, you know what I mean? Like we take away people's freedoms when they've done certain crimes, rightfully so, etc., etc. Rehabilitation, rightfully so that people can come back into society.
Yeah.
Because we've seen so many people go to prison and be transformed. You know what I'm saying? But to put something in their body to chemically change everything, I don't know, man.
That's so interesting, this take of yours.
Why?
I mean, there's a very human element to it.
This is me all the time.
Yeah, but for pedophiles, it's an interesting take.
It's gonna get it.
I don't.
I think maybe when you say pedos, or pedophiles.
Maybe not. I don't think it is. Hold up.
Sorry, people. 1 second.
The thing is, they can still hear us now, right?
Okay,
you can't hear us.
Okay, cool.
And if anybody wants to join the Discord, we won't be able to hear them. So maybe I should only take it off if anybody joins the Discord.
Yeah.
Right, other than that, let's continue.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool. So they can still join, but we just won't be able to hear them.
Yes.
But so you would see that they want to join anyway.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Let's leave it like this.
All right.
So yeah, what was I saying?
So you're basically saying that you don't want to stay ahead of the pedophiles. You want to allow them different rehabilitation methods that are softer, kinder, more gentle.
I only because I'm thinking about, like you were saying earlier, the possible implications of going further in it. If it is perhaps that some of these pedos, because a lot of these people.
Same with like a racist individual, right? Who's just committed a heinous act of violent racism that involves the death of a young boy or girl, right? And they've been locked up. Would you also say, I would rather therapy and release rather than death penalty?
No.
What?
I wouldn't say that.
That's where you go. You would capital punishment for that one?
Yeah, because...
Whoa.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. But I've said this before on the show, yeah. I'm in two minds about capital punishment. I believe in the idea of it. I understand why it should be there. And in some cases, I'll be honest with you, I'll call for capital punishment. However...
What cases?
We can get
the one that they said?
Yeah, even that one.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? But the issue is human beings are human beings and we make mistakes. That's the issue. Nothing more than, there's not much I hate more than an innocent person being accused or being charged and called guilty of something they never did. And sometimes we get things wrong. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why I'm against capital punishment. So if, for example, I had a vote right now, today, and somebody said to me, yo, this is an opportunity, capital punishment or not, I would say no. So because of that, because we can make mistakes.
All right, I need the clear distinction. Okay. So before you said human beings can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then you also said in the same breath that innocent people might be wrongfully imprisoned.
Yes.
So they're two different things.
Okay.
Are you in agreement?
I want to see where you go first.
The person who makes a mistake, you're not saying they're innocent.
No. When I say human beings make mistakes, I mean in terms of us judging the person. So as the jury, as the judges, right, we may make a mistake on the judgment of the accused. That's what I mean. We make mistakes in terms of deeming a person guilty. That's what I mean.
All right. So the individual that is on trial and the outcome, the punishment is capital punishment. You are not seeing them as innocent. You know that they've done something.
Okay, so it's a new scenario you're saying now for me.
Well, I'm now understanding what you're saying, because before when you said that you know that certain people are innocent, right, and you don't want them to receive punishment, right, because you've seen examples of innocent people being incarcerated.
Yeah, 30 years coming out, waste of a life.
Yeah. And then you've just clarified saying, no, I don't mean that. I'm just saying that on the jury, we can make mistakes on judgment.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Continue.
Yeah. So that's why I'm against capital punishment overall. Personally, I might call for it, that sort of thing. But in my sober mind, asking me to vote on a particular thing, I'll say no. So I'm against that, long story short, right? The other thing you mentioned.
Give me 1 second. Izzy Bambino. Oh, let me put the Discord back on.
Cool.
Because Izzy Bambino came on. Izzy, come back. I'm just going to make sure that we can hear you. Hold up. Sure. All right, we're back. So Izzy, you can make your way back to the Discord. We can now hear you. Continue, Manuel.
Yeah, basically saying, I can't remember what I was saying to you, to be honest with you, but I guess my overall point is, it just seems a bit, this is going to sound wild now, evasive, right? You know what I'm saying? In changing the chemical balances and stuff. I'm seeing from the chat, people are saying that these things can wear off. So, okay, cool. I guess it's not a permanent thing. But I think I wouldn't necessarily be against prisoners.
I just pictured it, right? Yeah. The wearing off of the chemicals. So I could picture a pedophile, right? Just turning up, getting the, all right, juice me.
Yeah.
And then when he's out, like he's like, all right, he's in a dark room. He's like, get this out to me. Get this out to me. He goes cold turkey and he bleeds himself out. He's like, all right, cool, I'm back.
Can you imagine?
All right, cool, I'm back. Izzy, good morning. How are you? It's always nice to hear from you in the morning. Still, you causing trouble later on.
We can't hear you.
Izzy? Easy. Oi. And then K Price is also here. K Price, can we hear you?
Hello.
How are you? Whilst Izzy's there fixing his setup, how are you? What are your thoughts on this, young man?
I've got a lot of problems with this. It's I feel like the fact that this is even being entertained in the first place and it is the result of the fact that the multiple different governments who have all tried to be quote unquote tough on crime hasn't worked. And so they're now trying to move into these medical aspects as if these are going to be the silver bullet to solve the situation, and it won't. I think something that also needs to be brought up is the potential fact that just like the concerns people have with like the assisted suicide, right to suicide bill, some people are more likely to be targeted by this than others. In terms of, say, not just in terms, because I know we're talking broadly about, say, sex offenders and pedos and people of that like, but also depending on the kind of background of who and where these people are from, and if they've got, say, certain conditions. And honestly, that's when you're really, really marching down this slippery slope of like people, you know, those sort of old time Victorian thoughts of like, oh, people are just inherently criminal or inherently more likely to think certain ways than others. Because as somebody said in the chat, it ain't like they're gonna be chasing down somebody like, say, Prince Andrew or whoever else to make them go for these things. And the idea that even if they do wear off, the idea that like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to go back and, you know, restore this every couple of months is ridiculous to me.
So what would you say is the alternative? Do you think we should just keep doing what we're doing, or do you feel as though, I don't know, some other means needs to be tried?
I would say I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert as far as reform here, but I would say I think when we're talking therapy here, especially in terms of prisoners, I think we need to be more specific about what kinds of therapy that are available and what they are getting, because I think a lot of people would assume it's just they go into a room and sit down and have talking therapy, which that's one method, but that's not everything. And also the fact is as well, we can't talk about this without mentioning, you know, the cuts hitting here, right? I'm not going to pretend like I'm exactly the biggest fan of the justice system, but like a lot of the decisions that are being made as far as what to do with these things comes from that. And as I've said before, there's a lot of people out there who they might not like Boydem, but they're really, really big on the idea that we need law and order and we need to do these things. But the fact of the matter is, as much as some people might hate me say this, you can't fix systemic problems with just like hard discipline. It don't work. You might be able to get a few people, but that's at most how much you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so far. Stay there, please, K Price. Don't run away. I know sometimes you feel conscious that you're speaking too much, but you're not speaking too much. Easy Bambino, can you now speak?
Good morning. Can you guys hear me now?
We're hearing a lot of underwater rustling over there, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'll try and fix that. But I kind of missed maybe like the last 3 minutes trying to fix this. But basically, what I wanted to call in to discuss is kind of like the
what's going
wider
on?
role.
Your mic is diabolical, man.
It's
What's going on?
chemically castrated.
Say something again.
Gone again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, there's something with your mic, you know, because every time you're talking, it's doing a mad something. I can't even describe
Okay,
it.
I'll try and fix that.
Okay, cool. All right, while we're waiting for Izzy, Dr. Mani said, maybe I need to talk through therapy with you guys. There's effects from the therapeutic relationship, which I think is actually what people are excited about. And then the actual therapeutic models. You know what I'm saying? I love it when the doctor talks. They know what the hell they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Teach us, please. Teach us.
Teacher.
You know what I mean? Maggie makes a good point as well. She said the pill, weight loss medication, hormone replacement therapy,
JD,
all our chemicals.
Maybe I don't want to laugh over Maggie's point, but JD said man's using Pringles can and string. Nailed it. Go on, sorry, start again.
Yeah, so Maggie said the pill, weight loss medication, hormone replacement therapy, all are chemicals used to disrupt and change the body and brain chemistry. It's interesting the concern for this when it's voluntary.
100%. My 4K says she's rolling wrong in the toilet bowl.
Easy, man. They're coming for you, man. Come back stronger, man.
At least it's better than what's her name?
What, Jackie's?
Jackie.
Nah, that was diabolical. Jackie's ain't as bad as that.
But guys, is it any better now?
Come on. Hope you flush.
So you guys doubted me for a few minutes.
Flush to wash your hands. Go on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of missed the last few minutes of the convo trying to fix it. But what I wanted to discuss is kind of like the wider role of the justice system. So usually people smarter than me would divide it into like 3 subcategories. So you have punishment. So you've done something bad, punishment. You have the public safety aspect. So you're a threat to the public. And then the third bit, you have rehabilitation. So I think people's view on whether this is a good idea comes down to which of those 3 might be sacrificed by doing this.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest risk is people thinking, yes, from a public safety act, it works, but you kind of remove the rehabilitation and the punishment element if you don't send these people to jail.
Yeah. No, but you know,
that's pretty much it.
So sorry,
yeah,
I don't want to cut you, but you know they're not talking about not putting people in jail, though. You know.
I'm pretty sure this is where it's going to go down because I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there was some news about jails, and I think there's like a record number of prisoners in the country, around 90,000.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the government is looking at any way to release prisoners. I think this time last year, or maybe just less than last year, they were releasing all the prisoners or shortening their sentences.
That's true.
I don't see this that different from that.
That's crazy, you know. If this is indeed what they're thinking about, that is crazy. That's
just my hypothesis. That's not like anything reported, to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but you're making a good point though, because again, that was one of the recommendations by this guy, David Gork, who's the former Tory Justice Secretary, who I believe put forward, I think it was a bunch of recommendations anyway, to Shabana Mahmood, and I think one of them was in terms of reducing the actual time. Let me get it right, so I'm quoting before somebody tells me I'm wrong and doesn't give evidence that I'm wrong. One second. Okay, so government sources said that she is expected to accept the review's key measures, she being Mahmoud, including that well-behaved prisoners should be released on tag after serving a third of their sentences. A third, you know. She has also accepted that those who have committed serious sexual or violent crimes could be free to serve their sentence in the community after they have served half of their sentences. So this is basically what she is expected to say to the House of Commons. In fact, I think she might have said this yesterday. Yeah. So this will be like a total major, overhaul of the criminal justice system. So, yeah, Izzy, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in assuming that at all. You know what I'm saying? First, it starts with a reduction of cases, and then I guess sentences, then no sentences. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they deem it something that's linked directly to a chemical imbalance, isn't it? So yeah, I guess that's definitely a con against these particular things. But yeah, yours is in the chat. Just Izzy and
K Price, yeah.
And K Price. But yeah, I mean, yes. K Price, is there anything you want to add?
This just feels like it's one of those ideas that's you would usually see in the tabloid papers being put forward as if it's some kind of liberal or more progressive idea to dealing with sex offenders. And the thing I am most concerned with thinking about this kind of thing is once you entertain it and it is brought forth and introduced, where else could they use it or use a similar idea to this kind of thing? Because I'm all for, the problem I think when it comes to talking about sex offenders, and especially when it comes to children, is more time people want to look like they're doing something rather than actually doing something. And they especially use them as a linchpin because it's something that people feel very emotionally strongly about. And some people are willing to be like, you know what, fuck it. Let's throw away all precautions. We need to go and target this. We need to go and target this particular method because, it seems like this is going to be the thing that solves it when all it does is just sprout out more branches and more issues that come forward to it. And as I said before, there's a chance I could see with something like this, some people being targeted more for this measure than others, or being, more likely people who end up getting this sort of treatment than others.
Yeah.
Can I ask why, Emmanuel, you would reserve capital punishment for that racist man and not the pedophile?
Not for everybody. Yeah, capital punishment for everybody, I'm saying. That view is an overall thing. We can get things wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we should necessarily, we could just get things wrong. And also, you also remove the element of rehabilitation in it. And we put ourselves in the position of God in it to try and say this person's future is going to be a bleak, dark one. Let's get rid of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so I misunderstood what you said before. So you didn't say that racist man in my example should die.
No, I was saying my personal thing is most definitely let's get rid of them. The thems, not the thems. You know what I'm trying to say.
But I am asking for I am asking for your personal.
Oh yeah, the personal one. I'll be like, yeah, get rid of all of them. 100%. The pedos, the rapists, all of these whatever's, all of them. But I'm saying in a civilized. Well, 1 second, K-Price. But in a civilized society though, which is where we live right now, we have to do things correctly. And if there's a chance that we can get something wrong, and we can send somebody to prison or take someone's life who's a rapist or who's whatever and get it wrong, I'm against that more than anything. So I would say no capital punishment.
So when do you allow for capital punishment?
I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, never.
I don't. Yes.
Not in any case.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Kip Price, go on.
No, because I was gonna back up with what Iman was saying, is that the issue with capital punishment and things like these is it's not just that they're seen as solutions. They're also, the intention of them being utilized is that they're meant to be a deterrent. They're meant to be this thing of like, oh, if you go down this particular route, then there's a chance that this could happen to you. And the thing is, most deterrents don't work. They generally don't work, no matter how harsh or how far you try to put to it. It doesn't work. And also, as somebody else mentioned in chat, it doesn't really address the root cause of the issue in the quote unquote civilized society. The issue's still there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, K Price. Anything else to say?
I think I'll leave it here just because I'm feeling quite fatigued this morning, but thank you for having me on.
I hope
No problem.
you get the energy from the sun.
That's it.
That's
Thank
how
you.
we recharge it.
Thank you.
That's it. Facts.
All right. Yeah.
Bye.
All right, listen. And thank you very much, Easy Bambino. Appreciate it. All right, let's kick on to the next headlines.
Let's do it.
Trying to populate it now.
Okay, cool. All right, people. So our next set of headlines: Republicans in the House of Representatives won passage on Thursday of a major bill that would enact Donald Trump's tax and spending priorities while adding trillions of dollars to the US debt and potentially preventing millions of Americans from accessing federal safety net benefits. What article wrote this? Oh, The Guardian. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act was approved, in the early morning hours, mostly along party lines, by the slim Republican majority, with 215 votes in favor and 214 against. Wow. Its passage ended weeks of negotiations that drew into question the GOP's ability to find agreement on Trump's top legislative priority in a chamber they control by just 3 seats. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, said after the bill's passage, it's finally morning in America again. The media and the Democrats have consistently dismissed any possibility the House of Republicans could get this done. They did not believe that we could succeed in our mission to enact President Trump's America First agenda, but this is a big one, and once again, they have been proven wrong. Next headline, and the Trump administration has moved to end Harvard's ability to enroll international students, escalating a standoff with America's oldest university. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem wrote on X that the administration had revoked Harvard's Student and Exchange Visitor Program certification as a result of their failure to adhere to the law. She also said on Thursday, let this serve as a warning to all universities and academic institutions across the country. It's diabolical. We are fully committed to maintaining Harvard's ability to host our international students and scholars who hail from more than 140 countries and enrich the university and this nation immeasurably. Okay, this is what the university responded by saying, we are working quickly to provide guidance and support to members of our community. This retaliatory action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community and our country and undermines Harvard's academic and research mission. The Trump administration's decision could affect thousands of international students who study at the university. Over 6,700 international students were enrolled at the institution last academic year. This is what the university data shows, making up 27% of its student body. And our last headline, 1 cent coins will stop being produced in the US next year. This is what the Treasury Department has confirmed. It marks the phasing out of the coins, commonly known as pennies, which have been in escalation for more than 2 centuries. President Donald Trump told his Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, in February to stop minting the coins, calling them wasteful. There has been a long debate over the cost and usefulness of pennies in the US. And in January, Elon Musk's unofficial department, Doge, drew attention to the cost of minting pennies in a post on X. The penny was one of the first coins made by the US Mint entering circulation back in 1793. But over the past 10 years, the cost of producing it has risen from 1.3 cents to 3.69 cents per coin. Definitely, stop making this nonsense. Stop making it. And the Mint estimates that stopping production will result in an immediate annual saving of $56 million in reduced material costs. And that's it for the headlines. Time to pay them bills. Let's get into some of this. Asking for a friend.
Okay.
All right, people. If anybody wants to call up quickly as well for asking for a friend, you lot might, give some valuable insights to these people who need assistance. Our first one is from a gentleman who's aged 26, and he asks, how do you actively pursue more time with the opposite sex as friends? How do you actively pursue more time with the opposite sex as friends? I have a female friend. She's not in a relationship, and I want to spend more time to hang out with her, but I don't know how to approach it without coming across as a beg. Do I just ask, can we hang out more? What can we do as platonic friends that isn't boundary crossing? Is going to dinner together too much? Absolutely not. Why can't you go to dinner?
Are there any women in the chat who would like to jump on Discord and help us out with this?
Yeah, man.
So the question is, how does he approach women and ask them for friendship?
Well, he's got a friend already. He's got a friend already, bro. He's saying, I want to spend more time with my friend, my female friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Without it coming across like I'm begging and whatnot. She ain't in a relationship. She's single, you know what I mean?
Begging?
Yeah. But what's wrong? Why can't you just say, yo, let's go out to eat? What's wrong with that? You're friends though, innit?
Yeah, what vibe is he getting from his current friend that makes him feel as if it is that he asks for some more time with her? She could think he's begging.
I have no idea. I don't know.
This doesn't have enough clarity for me.
Yeah, we need a bit more context. Mr. Man, please tell us a bit more information. If you're listening to the show right now, message in, please, so we can help you out properly. But based on what you've given us, when you said, do I just ask, can we hang out more? Yes. Or not even the more part. Just say, yeah, let's hang out. Let's just go out to this particular place. Yo, so-and-so's coming down. Cassidy's coming down. Or, I don't know, what's her name? What's the one of these singers? Janae Aiko, them people, you know what I'm saying? Big Sean's coming down. You like Big Sean, don't you? Okay. Erica Badu's coming down. Come down. Look. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. You know what I mean?
Okay. So money's involved.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, but he don't mind that. Because he's saying he's going to dinner together too much. You know what I'm saying? And there's no one saying you have to pay for it. You both like this particular person. But sometimes you don't know that the person's in town. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you like this person. Remember last time we were talking about this 4 years ago? When Dave Chappelle comes, we're going to go and see him. Okay, cool. He's here. That's it. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, seeing as there are no women in the Discord, that's your lot, mate.
All right. So our next person, another gentleman, 28 years old. Okay, this one we might need somebody to call up to hear you guys' opinion in it. Be helpful, people. And he asked the question again. He's 28 years old, and he says, "What do you do?" Trigger warning, people. Trigger warning. What do you do if you find out your friend was groomed? I found out she was 16, 17, or 18. So he's giving us a range, 16 to 18. And her boyfriend, now husband, was like 22, 23, 24. Right? So he's not too sure of the ages, but she's between 16 and 18. Her boyfriend was 22 to 24. I was disgusted when I found out, and I've kept my mouth shut. But now every time I see them together, I feel sick knowing what he did. They seem happily married with kids, but it makes me uncomfortable knowing how they've reached this point. So much so that I want to distance myself from her as a friend because of how much I don't like her husband. Am I overreacting? Is this my place to do so? I'm not going to tell her that I don't like her husband, but I don't want to be around her and her family and be harboring pessimistic thoughts about their setup. What do you propose I do? And how should I navigate moving forward? Do I just have to sort of super ghost her? Ben, what's your thoughts on this, please?
I wasn't listening.
Okay, let me read it again for you.
Thank you.
What do you do if you find out your friend was groomed? I found out she was 16.
Find out you're groomed, okay?
Yeah, even me. Right. Sorry, guys. I found out she was 16, 17, 18. And her husband, boyfriend at the time, of course, but now husband, was 22, 23, 24. So he's not too sure about the age exactly. But she was about 16 to 18, and he was about 22 to 24, right? I was disgusted when I found out, and I've kept my mouth shut. But now every time I see them together, I feel sick knowing what he did. They seem happily married with kids and all, but it makes me uncomfortable knowing how they've reached this point. So much so that I want to distance myself further from her as a friend because of how much I don't like her husband. Am I overreacting? Is this my place to do so? I'm not going to tell her that I don't like her husband, but I don't want to be around her and her family and be harboring pessimistic thoughts about their setup. What do you propose I do? And how should I navigate moving forward? Do I just have to super ghost her?
Well, if it's affecting him or her, is it a woman or a man?
It's him.
If it's affecting him,
I mean, a man.
If it's affecting him, then make your way and skedaddle. Skedaddle. If you're saying that they seem to have a thriving family and whatnot, what are you doing? If it's affecting you, skedaddle. But is he suggesting that there's an option to go and now look to cause trouble?
Basically.
And tear apart their family?
Basically.
I'm not understanding that. I mean, the horse is already out. It's gone. It's bolted. And there is no... I understand the dilemma in his head, right? But he's making this up.
Yes.
Go away. Go away and mind your business, right? If you're saying that... And maybe this is tied to the whole Cassie thing. I don't know if it is this person's asking, because this person is a perennial dilemma. Yeah. But not every bloody situation can be applied.
I mean,
by plucking something from another one. Do you understand? Every single case is different. If you are seeing or observing that there is harm currently, right? Then cool. Let's address this. But if everything looks well, and I don't know how you found out that she was groomed. I don't know how. I got no clue. You've not given us that information, right? But if nothing bad is currently happening that you can tell us about, then go and mind your business. Go away if it's affecting you, because we want you to sleep well.
Not if you have these views. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is diabolical.
Do you have a different opinion on this, Emmanuel?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm with you, and I think everybody else in the goddamn chat. What are we talking about? This is what happens when we hear new ideas floated around.
You see?
No, this is what happens.
This is what happens. Not combining this thing.
No, because Brent, this is what happens. You just hear certain things and you think, yeah, you know what? If this person's this age and this person, automatically you have a view and your view is correct. You started off the sentence saying, what do you do if you find out your friend was groomed? You've already assigned all sort of something to this. You are the bloody arbiter of truth here. You know everything here. I found out she was 16, 17, 18 and her boyfriend, now husband, was like 22, 23. Like, I was expecting the man to be 32 when she was 16. What are we doing there? What are we doing there? So she could have been 18 and him 24. What are we doing there?
Good morning, Johannes. What are your thoughts?
Morning, all. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Same. I mean, to be honest, it's the same as you guys. I was wondering how you came to this conclusion about being groomed. If it's purely on the age thing, how old is she now, and why is it relevant? Because let's assume she's 25 or 26, 27, whatever. She's older than what she was at the time. So she said, "Oh yeah, I met my husband when I was 16." Okay. Has she expressed any signs of uncomfortability? Is she? I mean, my point is he making it seem like she has an issue? If so, then maybe you can go and try and find ways to support her. But if it's purely the fact that now you know that they got married, I mean, they started relations when they were not underage, but you get my point, close to the breadline. What's your problem? If they're happy, they're happy. If you feel disgusted by it, this is a you problem. It's not a them problem. Times have moved on. Now the age gap is not even a problem. They're now at a suitable place where you say, "Oh yeah, this makes sense." You know, he can provide for her, he can look after her, so forth and so forth. So it's a bit of a weird one. So I kind of stand in the same boat as you guys, and I don't have any practical advice for him apart from either he lets it go or he just cancels the relationship, because what else is there to do?
Facts. He even went out of his way to say they seem happily married. So yeah, exactly. He even put the scene part. But from what he's seeing a couple that's happy, married with children. Something that is not, unfortunately, very common in our community. And you want to be the one to go and break it. Good. Well done.
Black community as well. Come on,
have it. Joke thing. What are we doing there? Fix up, please. Fix up.
Oh, I was gonna say for the first dilemma. Just be casual, innit? Just be friends. I mean, if you're already friends with her, that's firstly, okay, so you've got that box ticked. You just want to spend more time with your friend. Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's don't do the whole let's go for dinner, because now you're trying to make it sound like we're going on a date. Unless you're planning to pursue her, then that's a whole different case. If you're just trying to be friends and you just want to spend more time with your friend, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's go and get something to eat. All right. Like you said, if there's a concert or whatever, like things that you would do with your friends, like things you would do with your male friends.
Yeah.
Just put it out the same way. Obviously, sometimes language, you can't just, say it anyhow, but keep it casual. Don't feel like you have to, as soon as you start wording it in a way that sounds romantic, obviously now you're crossing lines, or you're blurring lines at least. So just keep it like that, keep it simple, and just keep the lines of communication open, and then find out what she likes. Yeah. And then go from there.
Yes, thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? But while you're here, before you go, there's one more dilemma. You might as well help us with that one as well.
Okay, let's see.
This is from a woman, 20 years old, and she says, is it better to believe an accuser that is eventually proven wrong, or from the off, accept the news and info that you've been given and be neutral? And as time goes on, you can believe based on more evidence and what comes out. Is it wrong to pick a side from the beginning just based on an accusation? That's what they've given us.
That's what I say. It's not enough information. Is it someone you know? Is it a friend? Is it a random person?
Yeah, that's all. That's what they're giving us, man.
All right. Let's make assumptions. It's someone that she knows. So obviously, based on, I mean, you only know someone as well as you know. Like everyone has their own. When you're not there, people do what they do in it. But given the options that she provided, I say you have to go with the neutral vibe. You go where the evidence goes, isn't it? and you follow that pathway. And then if you find out otherwise that the person is diabolical, then obviously, yeah, if you have to cut ties. Or you might even need to cut ties. You just know that about the person. So once you know that about the person, it's like, okay, I didn't know that part about you, but now I know that this is how you move. I'm aware. I can't do certain things with you, or I can do certain things with you, but I'm conscious I won't spend time, and just kind of, you have to move it like that. But you got to remember, what's diabolical for you might not be diabolical for someone else. Someone might have taken £5 from the mum's purse. That might be unacceptable for you, but for someone else, that's everyday life.
Yeah.
So depending on the circumstance, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And I think, pretty much, I'm just going to echo what you just said, man. It depends. Like, if it's somebody that's your friend or whatever, it might be different to somebody that's just maybe a celebrity or something. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. If you want to be neutral, I don't think there's anything wrong with being neutral, because you just want to know more before you accuse somebody. And I respect that personally. But again, everyone's different. Some people say, I'm going to believe the so-called victim first before anything else. And I understand why, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that's the wrong way necessarily. But me, and I guess a lot of our people are not always like that, because of the chance you could accuse and call somebody guilty who is not guilty. You know what I'm saying? It hurts, man. So,
is it better to believe an accuser that is eventually proven wrong? I'm going to believe my friend until I have other information.
Yeah.
If my friend comes to me and tells me that he or she has been done, I'm like, bloody hell, I'm believing them.
100%.
Right? Until
the evidence or something else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
But you were suggesting that you'd be neutral?
Me.
Oh, you'd be neutral?
My friends.
You are. Okay, cool.
You know me already.
But if they're not your friends?
Then.
So if it's a celebrity?
I like to take the position of, I need to know more in it. I'm not just going to believe the victim. That's just my approach. You know what I'm saying? Granted, it depends on the situation though, because sometimes the victim may give certain details, may say something, and it seems believable. It's like, okay, cool, 100%. I believe you. I still need to wait before I say this person is a guilty animal, depending on what the crime is. But there's something about what you said that makes me gravitate to you. And I hear where you're coming from. And I sympathize with you. Let's give that person support. Even if the person might not be a victim afterwards. Yeah. Fine. But I think it's slightly different to then saying, okay, cool, I'm going to shift the focus away from supporting the victim to putting the focus on attacking the person who did the crime, because you could be wrong. And when you're wrong and you label someone who's innocent guilty, I think it's one of the worst things in life.
All right, cool. So this is a case-by-case basis, exactly. 100%. So let me throw you an example. Okay, right? Cool. The Cassie situation,
yes,
right? When she came out and said that Diddy has abused her, and then she provided evidence, like photos and whatnot. Would you believe that she got abused physically by Diddy?
Yeah.
All right. So without hearing anything, you'd believe her.
What you mean? What? But you just said, and she provided something.
Yes.
But she provided
something. And that's the thing for you. That's
one of the main things for
you. That's
the
one of the fundamental things that you need.
Yeah.
Evidence.
Yeah.
Right? So you will believe the victim if evidence is provided.
Of course.
You won't wait for more context.
No, sometimes I will. You know what I'm saying?
But before basically believing them.
No, because it depends on the thing that they're saying. Did this person punch me up? Here's evidence. Yes. I may ask for more context as to why he punched you up. If, for example, he says, part of my defense, it was because this person came with a gun. I tried to... You never know the situation. But in terms of him punching you up, he did that because you showed me evidence. You know what I'm saying? You're a victim of his punchings.
All right. So just as you've said... yes, you'd believe that she got punched up because there is evidence that she got punched up.
Yeah.
But then you would say, what color dress were we wearing?
No, I wouldn't ask the question.
Sorry.
No, I know you're messing about.
Sorry. Wait, wind it back. Yeah. She could have come with a gun and did me up. Bam.
Yeah.
All right.
No. But what I'm trying to say is, I wouldn't necessarily ask for the context.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask for the context because why do I need to ask for the context? I don't think a man should be beating up a woman anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? So when she said he's beating me up and all that sort of stuff, and she's showed me pictures of her beaten up, just like Rihanna's situation.
Yeah.
Why am I doubting her for?
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? She
Yeah,
showed me.
Wait. Let's throw a curveball in there. Let's throw a curveball there. So she's come to you. Her face is battered and bruised. So clearly she's been beaten up.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit more context. She attacked him with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
He didn't actually hit her. He only blocked himself. He blocked. So when he blocked, the baseball bat, hit his arm, bounced back, hit her face.
Yeah.
So she's ended up hurting herself in this, and then she's come to you and telling you that he beat me up.
Yeah.
How do we take that? I mean, obviously you don't know the additional context.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. So this is what I'm trying to say. Are you just going to say he beat me up? Oh, come. Let me just go hospital, or are you going to try and dig for more to find out how you got beat up? Or we just taking that? Look, man shouldn't touch you. So
well, this is why, again, on this show, I've tried to make a distinction between believing and knowing, innit? So to me, I'll believe her because even though what you said is very possible, right? It's very unlikely compared to, you know what I'm saying, compared to what happened to her.
Yeah.
So I would believe her. Do you get what I'm saying? But I would change that if there was secret CCTV and it showed us what you just said. Do you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, none of us are there. We look at the evidence, we look at the situation, we say, no, based on this, beyond a reasonable doubt, Cassie's telling the truth, for example. You know what I'm saying? But again, like just based on the behaviors that we've seen over the years of Diddy, the things we've heard, I don't think many people doubted that Cassie was abused or beaten up by Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Let me switch the question.
Yeah.
So right now, the narrative is that Cassie wasn't a victim. She consensually wanted to do all these particular things, right? And then she got jealous when Diddy started showing attention to, I can't remember what that girl's name is.
Kim Potter? No.
Nah. So one of the city girls. I can't remember what her name is.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. I know you're talking about.
Yeah. And then that's when it is that she was like, wait a minute. Nah. This all of this stuff was abuse.
Yeah.
So then you have.
But wasn't it abuse through coercion? That's what I'm trying to say. Although that yes, she willingly participated.
Yeah.
But it's because it was coerced.
No, I know that's what the prosecution is saying, that and they got some experts to come on to talk about certain things that
how it works.
Yeah, people go through psychologically and blah 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 blah. But in that case, Emmanuel, would you say that she's a victim, or would you say no? It's definitely coercion and psychological coercion.
Why are the two separate?
So you're saying that she. It has to be separate. One is that one person is saying that she's not a victim. Like
no, but
she chose to do all this.
Victim.
And the other one is she was coerced to do this.
Oh,
they're two different things.
No, the way you said it was like, would I say she's a victim or that she was coerced to do it? So I was thinking the two in it. But I get what you're saying now. Based on what I've heard, remember, obviously none of us was there in it, but based on what I heard, it sounds like she was a victim. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? It does sound like that. It's sad, man. It's sad because I think sometimes when you are a victim of these sort of things, I don't know, it becomes your default, and you start behaving in a particular way that in your sober mind, absent of this animal in your life, you wouldn't be like this. Do you get what I'm saying? And we see that there. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. But yeah, there's no but, man. That's just the situation.
Shout out to TC and them man there. You hear what he said?
What happened?
I don't think that they're on your side with this. Josh and them man there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But thank you very much, Emmanuel. You're on the side of the right.
This guy. But I mean, yeah.
Johannes, what do you think? Do you think she's a victim?
Oh.
All right then.
Yeah.
I hear that sigh. Talk to me. Because I'm guessing you have read the text messages and you've been following that she kind of led the charge with getting a particular guy in, communicating with the guy, and in the text messages, it sounded as though, well, some people are suggesting that she really enjoyed all this kind of stuff.
But I think this is the issue, isn't it? We're looking at a snapshot. We haven't got the whole text history. We've got text histories of certain dates at certain times, which prove that Cassie was trying to initiate and set these things up, which I guarantee through the whole process, of course she would have, which is not it's not. I wouldn't say it's unusual. Like it seems like someone that's in that kind of position. If Diddy says, "Look, let's do something," you want to make him happy, so your default will be to go and do the arrangements. Especially now you've been shown how to do it. My thing is, do I think that she's a victim? Kind of, but I've got an issue. Like, she was with Ryan Leslie before. So she's been with someone that's famous, that's got power, that's got influence. So she knows what's that look like. She did it off her own back. To our knowledge, I don't think she was abusing that relationship, so that one seemed fine. So when she was a little bit older and she's got a little bit more maturity and she's seen more of the industry movements, so this is not brand new. So she knows industry people. She knows how they move in this world. Everyone knows this. We don't need to be inside it. We know that they move different. So she's got a little bit more exposure. Now she's met Diddy, 21. All right, Diddy's moving a bit wild. He likes me, whatever. He's going to make my career blow. Cool, whatever. You still entertain the relationship. You still have full knowledge of how people with power, industry, influence move, but you still decide to dive into it. He's got a baby mum. It's public. He's always propounding his love for her and whatnot. For me, this is just pure stupidity. If a man is making his presence know that he likes someone else, but you're still pursuing them, you're an idiot, especially on a public platform. At that point, go on.
I think at the time Ryan Leslie was like 28 or and then she was still a teen, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're like 10,
18. Yeah, 18. She started dating him, I think.
So there was grooming involved, isn't it?
Well,
Sorry,
one could say. Depends.
The callback. Come on, man.
Well, that's what the other guy would say.
Sorry. So you made your position very clear, Johannes. Interesting, no? Stay there. Good morning, Christy, and good morning, Easy Bambino. Christy, what are your views on this? And also what Johannes is trying to let us believe.
I'm trying to get Johannes's point.
That she isn't a victim.
No, because you mentioned Ryan Leslie, and sorry, repeat what you said about the Ryan Leslie first, please.
So what I'm trying to say is she was in a relationship prior to Diddy, and he's also one older gentleman. Two, he's someone of influence and power that can influence her career. So, and assuming that relationship wasn't abusive, she's got an example of what a relationship looks like and what it can do. So when she moved into the relationship, to say that she was completely groomed and naive, I think is too much of a step. I think she was conscious about enough of it. I'm not saying that she couldn't be manipulated, but she was conscious of she had enough consciousness to know that this is not exactly right. And on top of that, he's in love with someone else, and he makes that quite obvious. So that's what I was trying to explain.
Do you know what it is? Yeah.
So wait.
Yeah. So go on, Christy. Good morning, firstly, by the way.
Good morning. If Ryan Leslie is somebody, but he ain't Diddy. Let's be clear.
He doesn't need to be that high up. As long as you've gone up, isn't it? He put on the map. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is when someone like a Diddy comes around, and if Diddy has had a reputation, because apparently he sought out to take her from Ryan Leslie.
Okay.
It wasn't like he was set like, I'm taking your girl. So I'm not saying she didn't have any choice or not choice or whatever, but obviously Diddy compared to Ryan Leslie, if someone of Diddy's ilk is coming in that way, initially, there may be a law, but once you now get into it and certain things are now taking place, why would that negate her being a victim?
Because the way I see it, at least, is I understand you're trying to say there are two different levels, and I agree they're not on the same level. But you have enough exposure. You know, it's having exposure to something in it. She's had exposure to powerful person, someone that has influence, someone that supposedly, like I say, I keep saying, let's make an assumption he gave a good relationship. So now you've been going to someone that's even more powerful. You have an idea of what to expect. You know, there's no. My point is that you can't use the excuse I didn't know. I didn't know it's a.
What do you mean? I don't understand this. Not to what to expect. I don't get that point.
All right, let me see if I can break it down a bit differently.
Because you said she experienced a good relationship.
But I'm making the assumption that the Ryan Leslie was a good. I mean, no one's come out to say he abused her. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, from that standpoint, we're going to assume that they had what we can classify as a normal relationship where there's no abuse going on, and you know.
So you're saying because she experienced a good relationship, she was less susceptible to Diddy to be in a bad relationship. Is that what you're trying to make?
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. If you just use logic here,
because she knows a good to bad, so that would make her what? I'm genuinely confused.
What I'm trying to say is she's not as innocent as we were trying to say. Not what we're trying to say, but as the case is trying to make it out to be like she was young, she was naive, she didn't know what she's doing. You can't say that. That's null and void. You know, is that saying if I'm trying to think of an example here that even makes sense. That makes more sense. You've passed your driving test. Yeah. You started in a Vauxhall Corsa, and you know how to drive that car. Now I've given you a slightly more powerful car, a car that's got 2-liter engine. To say that you didn't know how to drive is stupidity. You know, you've done the test. You know how to drive. So now you're trying to say that you didn't know how to drive. It's null and void.
Do you know what it is? Yeah. I think, like, I understand where you're coming from, bro. Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where it's like, say you've been introduced to certain industry parties, you've been to a particular club, and you know in that club they always consume crazy amounts of alcohol and crazy drugs, yeah, and then going to another club and acting as though you didn't know the same guy who arranged that first event, who's arranging the second event. Is you know what I'm saying, like, is doing certain things, and you know you're going to be exposed to it. I think the issue is with the Cassie situation is she didn't just go into the club, right? She might have known in the club certain things go on, but with her situation, she was now forced, or at least tried to convince, like, you're not welcome here if you don't take these drugs, if you don't take X amount of alcohol, if you don't then take certain things further. That's the part that the issue is. I don't think the issue is mainly.
Yeah, but then you get up and you leave, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I hear what you're saying, but
because but let's put it out there. You're in this situation. You've been to a club before. You've seen the alcohol. You've seen the drugs. You've never forced to take the drugs. You drank the alcohol, but you didn't take the drugs. You saw it. Yeah, you know it happens. You've been to the next club. It's even more. You know, more lights, more everything, and they're telling you, look, if you want to stay, you got to sniff this cocaine. If you don't sniff the cocaine, you fuck off. Why are you taking it if it's not aligned with who you are and what you want? I mean, yeah, if it's not aligned with who you are, and you're afraid and you're not sure.
Wait, do you know he signed her to a deal, right? So if someone is coming in and promising you, so she already has an intention, already taking you from Ryan Leslie, who was meant to be somebody. He's now coming to be like, I can do more for you than Ryan Leslie.
But then
why? Can I finish?
Yeah, go on.
You also he's now also showing intentions that, but I like you, so I can put you on and put you into this position. So I've now locked you down for a 10-album deal, which is insane for someone. She was 18 with Ryan Leslie, now going on 19 with Diddy, and this is now your life. You're saying, okay, well, she should just left. It's just fine. It's just fine.
Yeah.
But you don't know at which point. You don't know at which point he turned. You don't know at which point certain things were put in a. You don't know any of these things. So you were just just get up and go.
No, I hear you. What you're saying is not outrageous. But the first problem is You was with Ryan Leslie. You had to deal with she had to deal with Ryan Leslie. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. Or at least
Okay, so she had some sort of
working with him anyway, musically.
She
Okay,
was
yeah,
working
yeah.
with him. I don't know that she had any deal with
Yeah.
him. He was
Okay.
he was producing. He produced her, I guess, her first album or something.
All right. So she has some, again, she has some industry knowledge, at least 3 years worth of industry knowledge at that point. What deals look like, what it's been like, and whatnot. At that
Wait,
point,
hold on. Sorry. Do you know rappers get done every day?
Yeah.
I'm not even disputing
Getting in
that.
bad
No,
deals.
no.
So,
This is
so
going
what are
to
you
my
trying to
exact
put
point.
up on her?
But this is going to my exact point. So she's aware. Like, some of it is, when you're in the circle, when you're in the inner, because imagine us on the outside circle, we hear about these deals. So imagine when you're in the inner circles, you hear about it even more in great detail. So my point is now she's now being more familiarized with these deals and whatnot. One of the ones that was infamous at the time before she even signed on was LL Cool J. He had to do, I think he had another 10 album deal thing as well where he was tied up. And again, it wasn't necessarily smart move. So my point is, if someone's throwing a 10 album deal,
Yeah, basically a team was meant to know the inner workings of deals now. Is that what we're saying?
I'm not saying the whole. No. I'm not saying.
As opposed to As opposed to Diddy, who's been in the industry long prior to her. So she's now meant to know. She's meant to know the lay of the land. Because if she knew the lay of the land, then why would she have signed that 10 album deal? Because that is insanity.
Okay. No, but let me put it like this. You don't need to know the lay of the land, but you need to know a 10 album deal is ridiculous. That's all you need to know. You need to know that the industry standard is not 10 album deals.
Wait, hold on.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, but you know
And
what?
do you think she's the first to sign such a deal? She's not the first.
No,
she won't be the last.
It's not the first. Like I said, I give the example
I understand
of
why you're
He
making
was
it
tied
seem
into
like
10 deal as well.
she's meant to know all this when a lot of people have fallen victim to this. Aside from any abuse or anything, just
Oh, Chrissy, man, let's be
in the music
serious, man.
industry.
We're talking about 10 albums. 10 albums. We're not talking about 10 singles.
They
10
say the
albums.
music industry is predatory for a reason. They say that.
You have to use a
The
level of
music
comment.
business, the entertainment industry is predatory for a reason.
Yeah, but the thing is, she was going to get robbed regardless. Yeah, whatever deal she signed, it was never going to be the best deal because it's one of her early on deals. But signing a 10 album deal makes you a complete idiot. When you could have signed, even if you told me it was a 5 album deal, I'd be like, all right, yeah, 5 albums, that's reasonable. 5 albums, it was around anywhere between 5 to 6 years. All right, that's reasonable. You can turn around and do something like that. It's a bit more common sense. 10 album deal, how long are you locked in for? How many times you gonna drop an album in a year?
But remember, yeah, like I hear what you're saying in terms of all like the amount of albums, but we don't know anything about the contract. We have no idea.
Hey, Emmanuel, it's going to get even worse because it's not 10 album deal when you're getting 200 million. It's going to be a 10 album deal. It's going to be like 5 million.
Yeah, but
it's going to be something stupid like that. So it's not even worth the money.
No, but you never know.
Wait, hold on.
You never know if, for example, it might be, you know what, after the first deal and it's successful, you're going to get more royalties for the second, more royalties for the third. We don't know if overall this deal made more sense than other deals. But even if it didn't, right? Remember, she's 18 plus.
No, it's not 18 to 21.
Okay, 21. Okay, 21.
When did she? Yeah, 21.
Regardless, right?
She's got. I'm saying she's got some experience.
I hear you. But remember, this is still Diddy. Like, remember, people go to no disrespect to Cash Money, but people go to Cash Money every single year and get fleeced every single year. Even Lil Wayne did. Drake.
The
Tiger.
Locks got fleeced by Diddy. What are you talking about?
Biggie was in a mad deal. Craig Mack was in a mad deal. Like, everyone's been in a mad deal with these guys. So it's not fair.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
You know
I'm not saying that. But no, this is what you lot are trying to take the wrong thing.
Okay,
I'm not saying. I'm saying she was going to get robbed. I'm saying for the deal standpoint, she was never going to get a good deal because she's green. She's brand new. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give you a good deal at the beginning. I can't even vouch that you're going to even produce good records.
Okay, cool.
So why am I going to give you a good deal? But to give you a deal that has completely blindsided you and tied you down to that extent, even if you tell me by the 10th album I've got 100% royalties, it makes no difference because there's no common sense in it. That's what I'm trying to get. Okay, there's no common sense in signing that kind of deal.
Okay, so deal aside, yeah, that might be abuse, it might be negligence in terms of the deal, but nobody's in court right now talking about the deal. We're talking about the abuse.
No, I'm only tying it back because Chrissy was saying that. I understand her point. At that point, is she signed a deal in it, so she feels like, what else am I going to do? But I can't make music. What do you want me to do? Like, she's got no choice in it. So let me close up to Diddy and see if I can get, whatever, like on that side. But that's why I was going back to the deal to say that, yeah, you can say that, but again, you can't use complete innocence. If you told me she signed that deal at 18, I'd say, yeah, because whatever money you threw at me at 18 is good money.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It made complete sense. But at 21, and I've seen, oh, so and so had this deal. Oh, so and so had that deal. Oh, so and so's good. You imagine if you've seen a few people, and you've seen at least minimum one. So you have some idea of what a deal looks like. So to say that you're getting wrapped up in 10 album deal, and you've seen other people get wrapped up in big contracts and they're complaining about it, you have to use a little common sense to be like, I can't do 10. Let's reduce it.
If you're saying use a little common sense, then everybody in that music industry that lacks common sense, then, because this has happened to so many people. So again, I don't understand I don't understand why she is now the poster child for lacking common sense.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying everyone lacks common sense. Like I said, you can't prove your value. The problem is when you're new artist, you can't prove your value. So you're going to get fleeced regardless. Or you're going to feel like that. Even if you think you signed a good deal, it's not a good deal, because if you end up being really good, you're going to say, wow, I should have made at least 4 times more the money. But you get my drift? It's like when you first start a new job, like, and then you sign the thing, you're happy with the deal at the time, innit? You sign it, it says 50k, you're like, shit, 50k, damn, all right, feeling good. Then you find out that when you start working a few weeks later, then you find out someone else is on 70k, and you're like, yo, well, I'm gonna get mugged off. All of a sudden, you're not happy. But that's only because you now know. But sometimes you won't know until you started.
Okay, so
Diddy. Sorry, can I just say? Do you know Diddy took Kim from Albie Shaw? Right. So
he took Kim Porter.
Diddy.
Took over. Sorry. Yeah.
This is like a pattern.
Yeah. I mean, industry practice of how they behave. I understand what you're trying to say. Like wrapping up people in bad deals is common practice.
No.
He's talking
about relationship-wise now.
Like taking.
Sorry. Go on.
Kim Porter was with Albie Shaw prior. She got with Diddy.
Okay.
There's been rumors in the same way. Albie Shaw's even saying, "Oh well, I've been trying to say this. This is like a practice for him." So to say that, she just get up and leave. To just say she should just get up and leave.
But
again,
Chrissy,
we don't know when the abuse started.
Okay, Chrissy.
I don't understand
you put a good point there. You're dating someone, Anthony Joshua. Let's just put a name out there. Yeah, you're dating Anthony Joshua. Yeah. Can Floyd Mayweather come and take you from him? He's got more money. He's got more prestige. He's 10 times the man. I mean, not the height, but he's 10 times the man. Anthony Joshua is. Can he take you from your man that you love, you're devoted to, you got a child with?
It depends what my intentions are. I don't see how this is relevant to that her saying she could just get up and leave.
No. It goes relevance to what you're saying about Kim Porter being taken from Albie Shaw.
I'm saying
someone stealing your girl is not.
No, but
someone stealing your girl is not a real thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Someone stealing your girl is not a real thing. You can't steal someone's girl. If a girl's not dedicated to you, if she's not dedicated to you, you got more issues than you realize. The girl didn't like you in the first place. If my wife now tells me that she's been snapped up by someone else, I had major blind sides I didn't see from the jump, and that's my fault. And obviously, she's also got personal issues that now she's decided that she didn't want to be dedicated to me, and now being swapped up by someone. It doesn't make sense.
No, but the thing is, there's
no loyalty here. What's going on?
No, but the thing is, you're both right, because you're obviously saying this girl's never loyal to you in the first place. There's obviously certain women out there that will never accept another guy's approach in it. But Christy's basically just trying to say this is what Diddy does, though. He don't give a damn if this woman is with another man, innit? He will still, disrespect the boundaries and do this sort of stuff. So the pressure that he applied on Cassie to take her from Ryan Leslie is the same thing he's been doing for years now.
Yeah, it's not new. It's not new. He's professional.
Exactly. And someone who's young.
Also, he's asserted some type of violence in terms towards these men.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
There's been threatening stuff happening in the background to be like, I'm here now. So get what you're on.
Abby Shaw was on.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So if you think Ryan Leslie didn't happen to Ryan Leslie, like, okay, so he just went quietly fading into the background. I had a girl.
Okay. No. I
And
understand what you're saying as
we're
well.
dealing with men's ego here. So you just think they just all just fell back just quietly and faded into the background? If some violence
I hear what you're saying.
being purported here, that's the point I'm trying to make. There's a history here where he's done these kind of things.
When you add the other side to it, you're right about it, because it's not just has he been moved over, it's also the fact that the guy's being now, in a situation where he's telling Cassie, bruv, get away from me.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. No, fair enough. You know what? I can accept that my viewpoint was a bit blinded there. So yeah, I'll take that on board. That's fair.
But yeah, exactly. And you know what the thing is, at the end of the day, this is why we have a conversation and showing it, because sometimes we have certain views that are skewed by things we don't know in it, and certain things that we've heard and whatnot. So it's always good to, like, correct yourself and move forward in it. But in terms of the overall thing, what's your overall view? Because I see a lot of people in the chat basically saying you're wrong for this and all that sort of stuff. So please clarify, for the people, your view on the actual case so far. I don't want
the actual Cassie case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the main thing, innit? You know what I'm saying? But obviously we went off on a tangent, innit? So please, make that clear for the people, because people are obviously thinking you think a particular thing.
No, on that Cassie case itself, like I say, she's definitely a victim. She has been abused and whatnot. Okay. Like I said, finding evidence of her, what's the word, of her initiating and all of that, doesn't necessarily mean that she was, this is exactly what she wanted.
Yeah,
it's definitely, I can definitely look at this case with the evidence that's been presented so far to say that she has been abused. Like, the only other aspect I was trying to say is she's not completely innocent from the. I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's not that she couldn't have removed herself from the abuse at some stage. That's what I'm trying to say, is that there's, she has some foresight that could have prevented it, but maybe not completely, but at least have some hesitation towards it.
Okay, so you're basically saying is that she's not completely. There was a time where she could have basically U-turned in the beginning, right? But basically, while she was with him, you're saying there was definitely abuse and she was a victim, basically.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay,
while she was with him, there was definitely abuse in that. Okay, like I said, even I think at the point she could have made a U-turn, there would have been huge financial loss.
And also beaten up, because we saw the video, you know what I mean?
Oh, well,
she tried to leave, you know what I mean?
Well, we don't know at that point, because at that point, obviously, they're deep into a relationship. I mean, before they started getting into that bit, would he have been, if she said no, I'm going, would he have put hands on her? He hasn't manipulated her enough to not talk.
Well, maybe he's trying to help you, but you.
Wait, hold on. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Because you know what's annoying me? People are saying that, they're acting like this video just doesn't exist, and I get that everyone keeps on saying, he's not on trial for domestic violence. That domestic violence is just any walk in the park. It's just a misdemeanor or something. So in that short clip, you don't think that, you just think that's an isolated incident?
No, I'm not saying it's isolated. I'm saying that he's
if it's not isolated incident, if it's not isolated incident, how would you think she was going to be leaving? If she was
no. What I'm saying about that particular one is that because at that point she's been she's been manipulated, she's been under the influence and all of that. She's not going to do nothing at that point. It's not the first time you put hands on her. But I'm saying before she got into the relationship, I'm saying he might have not even attempted it, because if he attempted it, he might have gone straight to the police and be like, "Big man, I don't play them games." You see what I'm saying? But obviously, once you're in a relationship, I get it. He's manipulated you. These people don't work like that. They work under manipulation. I manipulate you to a point that I know that you're not going to say nothing. You're not going to put hands on someone that he doesn't know what the potential outcome is.
So if you know this, then why is she kind of a victim?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Why she kind? No, I'm not saying she's kind of a victim. She's definitely, like I said, she's definitely a victim. She's definitely a victim. I can't say she's kind of. I'm just saying that we can't absolve her of all her responsibility, because it's like saying she's a victim so she didn't do nothing. That's not true, is it?
So wait, hold on.
Yeah, she's a victim, but
this is my problem with things like this. When it comes to victims in terms of sexual abuse or domestic violence or anything, there needs to be a perfect victim. It
No,
lends
but
itself to
I'm not
no.
saying
Can I
that.
finish? Can I say? It lends itself to when a woman is trigger warning, please trigger warning. When a woman is raped, and then it comes out in the trial, what was you wearing? What did you do to lead him on? Those kind of questions start coming up. So this is the thing where there must be a perfect victim for now the crime to have occurred of abuse. I'll tell you that for free. There's no such thing as a perfect victim. A victim is a victim.
No, I
Let's just make
understand what
that
you're
clear.
saying. But I'm not. That's what I'm not trying. I'm not trying to absolve her of that. I'm not trying to say she's not a victim. I'm saying she 100% is a victim. And in the sense of someone getting raped, there's no excuse for that. It doesn't matter if you're standing there butt naked. Like, there's no justification for doing certain actions.
Mm-hmm.
And the same way, there's no justification for P. Diddy putting hands on her and forcing her to go through this gruesome, intense, long periods of sexual acts.
Mm-hmm.
There's no justification for that.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm not even trying to justify those actions.
But again, I don't get why responsibility needs to be assigned to her.
No, because
what responsibility needs to be assigned to her? Because again, you're making it seem like, well, you put yourself in that situation, so therefore, whatever happens after the fact is fair game. That's what it's sounding like.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but in life, there has to be some level of responsibility. It doesn't matter the fact that you wrong place, wrong time. You have to also account for your actions as well, isn't it? You can't just stand there and say that.
So if I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time at a party, and God forbid something happens to me, it's now my fault.
Unfortunately, you played a part.
So do you also agree that Kid Cudi, when he got his car bombed, because he testified yesterday to the intimidation and violence that Diddy presented to him throughout the time when he was interested in Cassie, right? And that fear prevented him from going to the police or doing anything untoward. So would you also say?
Oh, he reported it, so it wasn't like he didn't go. He did report it to the police.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
You see what I did there? You said he reported to the police.
Yeah. He reported the car bomb.
Oh, it just didn't go anywhere.
I don't think they could have. I don't think they could.
All right. So her seeing that he did that to Kid Cudi, Kid Cudi reported it to the police, and Diddy didn't go away. Isn't that going to be telling her, look?
Yeah.
There's more than just.
No. At that point, like I said, at that point.
Oh,
it's too late. She's too far gone.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about it.
Are you saying at that point she should have gotten out?
No,
you can't. I'm saying she's too late. Once the manipulation and coercion have happened, it's too late. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying before that.
Yeah, but before, you keep on saying before. How do people become victims? There's always a before. If that was the case, there would never be victims. What are you talking about?
No, you're valid. But what I'm trying to say is that in the early stages of the relationship, isn't it? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like you hear about it, there's red flags, isn't it? We all hear about this red flag. At some point in your life, you have some feelings inside you that tell you that this situation is not right. Whether you listen to it or not, it's up to you. And that's what I'm trying to say is at some point, she would have felt that situation is not right before she was fully manipulated. And she didn't make the choice to leave. And that's what I'm trying to say. She's responsible for that particular action.
So do you believe in the power of coercion?
I believe in it, yeah.
But do you really?
Yeah,
is it effective or is it not effective?
It's effective. I think anyone can be coerced. And I think most people are coerced every day.
So I'm confused.
But we have a choice, isn't it? Look, Brent,
have a choice.
You have a choice.
That's
do you know what it is? I think what he's basically trying to say is you just mean in terms of like human responsibility. We have a choice of where we go on a particular day, right? So I think he's basically saying she had a choice, accept her responsibility in some capacity in fraternizing with Diddy in the beginning, right? Accepting the deal and being there in the beginning. But from that point, right, when Diddy kicks in as a Diddy guy, it's all Diddy and she's a victim, right?
So thank you for trying to translate what he's saying, right? But if in the beginning there was the power imbalance
Yeah.
And there was the promise given to her.
Yeah.
To come through, I will look to give you this, that, and next.
That's going to influence her
And
decision.
once it is that, because remember these particular perpetrators, they know how to basically manipulate, they know how to basically coerce, and they know how to basically wield their power in order to get you there so that there is no turning back afterwards. But you're just negating all of that by saying this. What did you say again? How do you translate what
basically
you said?
trying to say in the beginning, basically, you know what I mean? But yeah, but Brent's right, man, because at the end of the day, from the beginning, that power imbalance and all the things he would have showed her, right, would have made her think a particular way. All of that is factored into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right from the beginning, you don't show monster.
Yeah.
Do you understand? To a person that you know that particular psychological strategy is not going to work, it's going to scare away immediately, you do a different tactic. I mean, I'm not sure if it is that you listened to or read some of these text messages going back and forth. Days after, or the day after, the morning after freak off, the type of language he would use is crazy, right? So I'm thinking, whoa, he's proper going on to this brother love type. Have a beautiful morning, have the best morning ever. I'm thinking, whoa,
Yeah, but that's what abusers
he
do.
really did a number on this particular woman, you know?
Yeah.
Hello, Davina. I seldom kind of hear you on the Discord, so thank you very much. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Eamon just said some of it, but I just wanted to also add in the part where at the beginning, when Cassie was introduced to you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. When she was in the club and he walked into the bathroom and kissed her.
Yep.
So it started from then.
That's
now,
true.
part of you is going to be shocked and think, what the hell? You'd like it to a degree because you think, oh, he's interested in me. But also it's inappropriate. So it started from then. She didn't really know how to take it. Later on, you're going to realise that actually, no, that's where it started. That's where the power play started because he's come into the women's bathroom and started kissing me. He didn't speak to me first and ask if this is what I wanted. He just came at me, and that's what they do. They start it off small, little things, and it's like drip fed, and then something will happen and they'll be like, you know what, I won't do this again. Oh, though this was that, and they'll sort of trick your mind into thinking, they'll gaslight you, they'll think, actually, no, that wasn't what you really thought it was this. And if you hear stories about other people, they'll say, no, they said that because of this, and it's because I wouldn't give them this or do that for them, so they're telling this story about me. It's never clean cut and obvious. It is sometimes, but again, they'll make you think that that isn't what it really is. It's always put down to something else, or they'll lie about the stories or situations because they don't want you to see them as a monster. They don't present themselves in that way. They present themselves in the best way possible. Hardly any abusers are just like angry looking vicious people straight away. Otherwise you wouldn't hear these stories so much. So it's not that simple. And then they make you feel like that she probably did try and walk away in the early days, but he would have said the right things to get her back on side. He did. He even went to her parents and was like made them go on holiday and all these other things. They do other little things to sweet you and make the family think, no, maybe you're reacting. Just go back there. He's a nice guy. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And remember, he didn't just do this to Cassie. He did it to men too, right? You know, Day 26?
Yeah.
Did you watch the interview with...
I've not seen it, you know.
Oh, it was harrowing, man. Guy prop up. All of them started crying.
Serious?
All of them started crying. So it isn't just something that, he can do. His power doesn't just impact or influence
just
like
women.
Young, women like that.
So quick question about that then. I mean, am I being naive here, or is this only happening because of money? I mean, in the sense of those being abused. Because if you had the financial ability, because I'm assuming that they're doing this for a financial gain, would they have gone down that pathway? Because, like you said, he's sweeting Cassie's parents with a holiday trip here and here. Let's say I don't know if they got money or not, but assuming they haven't got that kind of money, they will tell him, "Fuck off! Come on, this is my daughter you're playing with. Go and do one."
But
not necessarily a broke man.
Yeah, he has unlimited resources, and he used those as tools to achieve his outcome.
Yeah. I remember these people are basically trying to do what a lot of people don't have access to really pursue their dreams. Like Diddy is Diddy. We know what Diddy's done. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of millions of records, and he's interested in you. You know what I'm saying? To really kickstart your career. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? So
I understand that. No, it's a big deal, of course. Like if someone can throw you in the right direction, you're more likely to, come to their suggestions and whatnot.
And remember, even though I know you don't mean it this way, right? But in terms of how you just said, your suggestions, remember it happens so slowly. You don't notice. Just like Davina was saying, till you're already far from land and you're looking back like, how the hell did I get here? You know what I'm saying? And the only way to get back there, at least in your thinking, is either to get assistance from that person who's brought you out there or to potentially risk your life and swim back. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's how these people find themselves in these sort of situations where it's like, I am alone and all I have is this animal. Do you get what I'm saying? But sometimes this animal is nice to me. Sometimes we get to go out. So I'm just going to pray for those nice days. Do you get what I'm saying? So
I understand that aspect. Go on, Chrissy.
Can I ask for the accountability police? How should we assign accountability punishment, please, for the people that are so harping on that someone needs to take accountability?
Who did that?
I don't think they need to be punished. I mean, in this particular case, I don't think Cassie needs to be punished for her actions. I mean, I think we've clearly established she was manipulated in a way that is beyond her means or whatever. So I don't think the parts that she played, she needs to be punished for them per se, because it was a bigger situation than that. And I don't think even if we are trying to split hairs in the situation, I'm never trying to say that the victim needs to also be punished. I'm just saying that sometimes they need to be. Maybe it's harsh. Maybe what I'm trying to say is probably harsh. Is try to look back and be aware of where things went left. So going forward, you can try and avoid that from happening again.
That's a fair point. Yeah, people can sort of take not accountability, but sort of identify the moments to try and prevent anything like that happening again. But more than likely, it will, because once you have been abused in some kind of way, you tend to be more vulnerable to it continuing, because again, abusers present themselves in different ways. They don't, even though fundamentally it's the same pattern, it doesn't always start in the same way. So they do tend to fall victim more than once. But yes, it is important to look back and think, oh, this is probably when I could have done this, and this is probably when I could have done that. But ultimately, it's not the victim's fault, because that person knew what they wanted from that person. So they were always going to try and get it regardless.
All right. Thank you so much, Christy, Davina, and Johannes, for having this conversation. It's been absolutely enlightening. Johannes, you ain't gonna be the charges, brother. You ain't gonna be the charges. But thank you very much for participating in this conversation.
Yeah.
We have to basically move on.
Yes, we do.
Because I need to be about my business. So thank you very much, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. As in the one on Discord, wrap it up just yet. And later. Thank you. Bye.
All right, people. Bye. Yes. Yeah, I think let's get into our last set of headlines, Brent. Cool, blimey, for this next headline. So, I know a lot of people have said that Denmark is one of those places where, it's an amazing place, socialism works and everybody. So, it's the place to go to. But Denmark is set to have the highest retirement age in Europe after its parliament adopted a law raising it to 70. So this is how they're able to pay for the life that you guys say is amazing. They want you to work till you're 70 years old. So since 2006, Denmark has tied the official retirement age to life expectancy and has revised it every 5 years. It's currently 67, but will rise to 68 in 2030 and to 69 in 2035. The retirement age at 70 will apply to all people born after 31st of December 1970. The new law passed on Thursday with 81 votes for and 21 votes against. However, last year, Social Democrat Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said that the sliding scale principle would eventually be renegotiated. She said, "We no longer believe that the retirement age should be increased automatically," adding that in her party's eyes, you can't just keep saying that people have to work a year longer. Of course not. Thomas Jensen, who's a 47-year-old roofer, said that told Danish media that the change was unreasonable. We're working and working and working, but we can't keep going. He added that the situation may be different for those with desk jobs, but that blue-collar workers with physically demanding professions would find the changes difficult. 100%, man. Next headline, as the United States imposes higher tariffs with global ramifications, African Development Bank Group President Dr. Akinwumi Adesina has warned that these measures could trigger significant economic disruptions across Africa, affecting numerous nations and accelerating a strategic shift in global partnerships. In an exclusive interview with CNN's Christiane Amanpour, Dr. Adesina revealed that 47 of Africa's 57 countries will be impacted directly by the new US trade policies, with potential declines in export revenues and foreign exchange reserves. So this is what he said. When those currencies weaken, two things will happen. First, you find that most of these countries are import dependent, so you're going to find that high inflation becomes a problem. And secondly, you find that the cost of actually serving a lot of their debt, which is foreign currency debt, but in local currencies, is going to get worse. Almost all, this is the next part now, almost all African countries have been hit by higher tariffs announced by Trump administration, with at least 22 nations facing up to a whopping 50% for almost all of their products. Among the hardest hit countries are Lesotho, Madagascar, Mauritius, Botswana, Angola, Algeria, and South Africa. And our last headline, last but certainly not least, doctors and teachers in England have been handed a 4% pay rise after the government accepted salary recommendations from pay review bodies. Education unions have broadly welcomed the decision, whilst warning of cuts to school budgets without extra funding to cover costs. But health unions have reacted angrily after a smaller rise of 3.6% was announced for other NHS staff, including nurses and midwives. The BMA, the British Medical Association, said an average of 5.4% rise for resident doctors, formerly called junior doctors, was woefully inadequate and said it would ballot them next week over possible strike action. So that's what may happen, guys. Resident doctors took part in 11 separate strikes during 2023 and 2024 as they had been arguing for a 35% increase to make up for 15 years of below inflation pay awards. That's insane. They deserve it, man. 15 years of getting pay increases that are below inflation. So they've been losing pay, basically. They've been losing pay. So this is why they're asking for 35%. They were given rises worth an average of 22% over the last 2 years to bring an end to those strikes. And the BMA argues that this year's pay award did not do enough to make up that remaining shortfall. And that's it for our headlines, guys. Time to pay them bills. Let's get into the reaction. All right, people, welcome to the reaction. There isn't much to talk about. I just wanted to let you guys know the games. I believe this is the last game of the season, right, Brent?
Yeah.
All right, so on Sunday, you're going to get all the games playing at all the same times. And Bournemouth is going to be taking on Leicester City. Fulham's going to be taking on Man City at home. Ipswich is going to be taking on West Ham. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. Newcastle versus Everton. Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. Southampton versus Arsenal. Tottenham Hotspurs versus Brighton. And Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Brentford. And yeah, that is pretty much it. I don't think there's any boxing big fights anyway on the weekend. So I think we can pretty much wrap it up there. There is just some talk about Italma, who's one of the upcoming boxers, who's part of Frank Warren's stable, potentially fighting Bacoli. So apparently, this is what people are saying. Nelson was talking about, they're ready for the fight come the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people are not really rating Bacoli anymore, especially after he's lost to Parker and what many perceived as another loss to Ajagba. But that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing. So yeah, Brent, we can go into our wrap up.
Okay.
All right, people. It's been a good day, man. It's been a good day. I appreciate you all for tuning in and also for contributing in the chat and in the Discord. Big up you guys. Today we spoke about the UK signing an £101 million a year Chagos Island deal. And that's going to be them basically leasing the land so that they can have a military base there for the next 99 years. That's going to cost them 3-point-something billion, basically, in that time period. Netanyahu, the animal, basically said that Starmer and all these other guys, Macron, PM Mark Carney from Canada as well, they're all on the wrong side of history for supporting the end to this, basically, into the conflict and them just killing people for no damn reason. We also spoke about Ramaphosa saying that the Trump visit was successful despite the tension that we all witnessed. And we also spoke about the House, the Republicans in the House of Representatives, basically facilitating Trump's new tax cut bill. And we spoke about the Trump administration ending Harvard's ability to enroll international students and the US Treasury saying they're not going to be minting any more pennies. Makes sense. Of course, we spoke about Denmark raising the retirement age to the highest in Europe, 70 years old. And we spoke about the teachers and doctors being given 4% pay rise. Asking for a friend, we tried to help out the people. To the young man who wanted to be a superhero, my friend, leave your friend alone. She and her husband are happily married with beautiful children. Focus on your own. And for the topic of the day, of course, we spoke about chemical castration in the UK, whether that should be a good thing. Is that an ethical dilemma? Should there be some justice reform? And guys, just a reminder, it's bank holiday on Monday, so there won't be any show on Monday. And also, ACLT, register. The information's in the description. 31st of May, last Saturday of the month. And that is, I believe, it. Have an amazing bank holiday weekend, beautiful people. Peace.